Hi guys. Well, here we are. I'm running some errands and I was looking through my handbag and I realized that I actually had my mic with me, so why not do a little video? I had some things I want to talk about. So I was going to make this a sit down video, but I think it might be better if I just kind of say what's on my mind about it, because I've received so many messages. And like, when I say I receive a lot of messages, that's just not me saying, oh, I got so many messages and it's like 3 or 4. I mean, like over 15, 20, 25. Like, that's the number that I'm talking about. And on Instagram, I don't even have 2,000 followers. So for me to have, call it 25 messages, that's a lot for someone who has the size following that I have. Because I know that some people will be like, oh, I got so many messages, and it's like in reality it's 5, Over the past couple of days, tons of questions and kind of like FYI messages that Alicia Dougherty has announced that she is praying for her haters, the people that hate her. I think that most of you, if you watch my videos, you'll know how I feel about this, so it's not going to be surprising. But I still want to make it very clear. When it comes to haters, most YouTubers categorize haters incorrectly. Someone who is a hater is someone who is just not fond of you for simply you existing on the platform. They decide that they don't like you because you're annoying. They think that you're stupid. They can't stand the way that you look. It's typically people who are just salty, and there are those few. But what I see so often is YouTubers say, oh, my hater's this, my hater's that. But the people that they're talking about are not hating on them. They're providing criticism, and true criticism. And that's something else I want to hit on in this video, is that there is a black and white difference between criticism and just being a jerk. And I talk about this constantly, so I do apologize in advance if I'm sounding like a broken record in this video, but it's important to differentiate between the two. Most of the commentary channels that I see, not all of them, but most of the ones that I see are talking about things that matter. They're talking about oversharing about your kids, showing, small children in bathtubs and swimsuits in very public content where they know that inappropriate people are taking in that material and doing inappropriate things with it, and they're providing it. And in this video, I want to talk about my own content, because I know that there are other people on TikTok, YouTube, I've even seen some stuff on Instagram of people talking about Alicia and her content. But I want to focus on my own content today. When she wants to say that people are hating on her, I find that extremely ignorant to try to lump in anyone who has an opinion in the same group. I don't appreciate it. I have covered Alicia from the stance of focusing on her content, calling out the things that she's doing, not name calling, not poking fun at her personal appearance or the clothing that she wears or the way that she walks or stands or whatever. I'm always going to focus on the actions that she is showing everybody. And I can focus on the actions without being a jerk about it. And that's not me like patting myself on the back. It's just discussing the facts. Because anyone that watches my Dougherty Dozen videos can go back from the get-go and look at what I've talked about. It's all out there. I've never taken down a video or done anything like that. I did have the one issue recently where I tried to edit something and it got all messed up, but I did the video again and I reposted it, and none of my language changed or anything like that. From the start, when I started covering the Dougherty Dozen, I knew that it was going to be a very divisive conversation. And the way that I knew that is because of how her fans reacted to my first few videos. Typically, if a YouTuber has known stans that really adore everything that they're doing, as a commentary channel, you can gauge the kind of temperature of that early on and see that it's going to be a hot topic if you continue to talk about them. So I knew early on. I also know how I cover things, and I know that I'm not here to be a jerk about it. Even if some people say, oh, you're a bitch, oh, you're snobby, oh, you're judgmental, oh, you're unhinged, obsessed, despicable, whatever. I've heard it all. I know that my content speaks for itself. Are there times when I could have been much more snarky than I was? Absolutely. Did I choose to still stay in my own lane? I did. For Alicia to come out and just paint herself as this victim and say, oh, my haters, I ignore them, even though I know she doesn't. She sent a CND to Dad Challenge podcast. So you know of commentary channels. I know that she watches this stuff. It's brought to her attention, or else she wouldn't have felt so comfortable to engage with her attorney and put up a CND. You have to be somewhat familiar with somebody's content in order to send them a CND, my opinion. Now, do I think that she watches all videos made about her? No, I don't, because I don't think that she has the time or even the want to, because if you're literally watching every video about yourself, that can be very unhealthy and it gets tiring. So I don't think that she watches everything, but I do think that she's very familiar with the channels that have talked about her. She's also tried to claim Amy Robinson's videos, and, you know, luckily, knock on wood, she hasn't, you know, ever done that to my videos, but she knows of the channels that are discussing her on a normal basis. Don't be, let's not act like you just have blinders on and you're just over here like doing all the sweet things like making sandwiches and doing personalized backpacks for your kids. Like, people like me and my videos, I'm calling her out for the problematic things that she's doing. I am not talking about, aside from, quote, Sandwichgate, I don't care what the woman puts her sandwiches together. Like, I don't care. But if she's putting out problematic content, then I am going to focus on that. And if the problem surrounds a fucking sandwich, then we're going to talk about a fucking sandwich. Like, that's just the way the commentary works. But for the most part, I have talked about things like her filming at her kid's school, her telling everybody, like her one kid was going to Idaho for this competition without parents there. Alicia announced it over a week ahead of time. All that I had to do was Google this competition, and I found out exactly where it was, exactly what the schedule was going to be. And that would have given me a week to plan if I wanted to go there and, quote, see one of the Dougherty kids. I have talked about her nurturing parasocial relationships with people like Auntie Lauren. These are really important things. I'm not nitpicking, the most ridiculous of ridiculous, guys. And I know that some people tried to say that I was nitpicking with the her giving her dogs a bath and using the body wash and the human dog shampoo and that kind of stuff in that video. It's because I don't appreciate when people do something to a pet that might cause them harm. This all goes back to, if you don't want opinions about it, don't put it on the internet. Don't do it. Now, Alicia also in her video said that she was going to be praying for the people who hate her. And she's obviously not going to be doing that. Like she's not praying for people who hate her. It drives her nuts that people don't like her. But as far as her offering a prayer for people that are raising concerns about her very public presence, I find that offensive. I find it offensive when someone tries to paint themselves as a victim and then double down to make a critic sound like a bad guy so much that you're going to offer them prayer. I don't want your prayers. I don't need your prayers. I didn't ask for your prayers. And when someone involuntarily offers to pray, I find that offensive because I didn't share with you any part of my life that might need an extra prayer. Now, if I open up about something that is really tough or sad or whatever, and someone offers to pray, I think that's beautiful. It's amazing. But to just go around saying that these people are raising concerns about me, so I'm going to pray for them, I find that offensive. My opinion, from my content. I do not hate Alicia. I don't hate anybody that I've ever talked about because hate is a very strong word. As I've said before, do I hate some of the actions that I've seen? I do, but that doesn't automatically make me hate the person who's doing them. So to finish my thoughts on this for right now, I don't need anyone praying for me. I don't appreciate when I raise legitimate concerns and somebody paints that as I'm just trying to cancel them and I hate them and I want all of the bad luck to go their way. That's not the case. It's never been the case. I have a commentary channel. I talk about things that are public and then we keep it moving. Simple. Before I start driving again, I wanted to just kind of like circle back on this whole topic of Alicia and her saying that she wants to pray for people and stuff. I think as a YouTuber, one of the most vital things that you can do is if you say you're ignoring people, then don't address them. If that's going to be your thing, where, oh, I ignore the haters, I don't pay any attention to them, blah, 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 then don't constantly talk about them. And I understand once in a while situations might happen where you have to defend your name or discuss accusations. Like sometimes things happen where it's like, well, yeah, of course you should address it. But it's so funny to me because I constantly see YouTubers saying, oh, I ignore the haters, but they're talking about the haters once a week. It's so funny to me. But I find it rather insulting that she would categorize most of what people are talking about as being haters, because that's not what it is. And anyone with a logical sense of like digesting content can look at it and say, okay, well, they're not really hating because we're talking about things like privacy, security, parasocial relationships, flex culture, food waste, food safety more recently. And that's not just being a hater. So for you to call it being hateful and people need to be prayed over, you are showing how emotionally immature you are and why you might not be cut out for YouTube. Because yes, there are going to be people that just cannot stand you. That's part of being on the internet, unfortunately. But if you are a family vlogger or another type of content creator and you're making problematic content, you will make your way to commentary channels. And I'm talking about actual problematic content, not someone just saying, oh, I don't like you because I don't like your opinion. We're talking about actual issues, actual red flags, period. So I don't appreciate her offering prayer from me. I don't need your prayers. I don't want your damn prayers. And I would take prayers from somebody again if I shared something with them where I was going through a tough time. Saying that I'm going to pray over you because you're concerned about children's safety is an insult, and I don't appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to talk about in this video is that Love Meg is coming out with a podcast with her husband, and it's called Mysteries Abroad. I was sent it a few times on Instagram, people, kind of sharing stuff with me.
Guys, I have some amazing news. We just launched a podcast. So this podcast is going to be about unexplained events. It's going to be about dark history, some true crime, some paranormal stuff. It's going to be all sorts of things, and it's going to be based. So the first episode that's up on there is from World War II. It's kind of a spooky, haunting, dark history kind of story that I'm willing to bet you've never heard. And that's actually something that I'm really looking forward to doing this research, is finding stories that people haven't heard 100.
It really just makes me laugh because here's the whole thing. They're stepping into the true crime, mystery, open, cold case, paranormal side of things. And I don't think they have any idea what they're signing up for. All the well wishes to them. Obviously, I'm not here to be like, oh, it should fail and, burn. Like that, I don't really care. But I do think it's really funny because Meg and Justin both have been very open about the fact that they cannot take any criticism or feedback. And when you're covering things like crimes that happened, whether it's domestic or international, it doesn't matter. You have to make sure that you are basing everything that you say off of facts. And yeah, of course, there's going to be some speculations that come up, but for the most part, people, and I've talked about this before, but most people that really appreciate true crime and respect the creators that cover it, it's because the creators stick to the facts, and if and when they get something wrong, they quickly come to their audience and say, I got this wrong, I apologize, here's what the correct information is, whatever. And I don't think Meg and Justin are the types of people that appreciate being told that they're wrong, as we've seen. So hopefully it goes well. I sure hope that they are ready to devote a lot of time and energy to researching the things that they're going to talk about and not just relying on, Google, because true crime and stuff like that takes a lot of resources, time, energy, patience, willingness to admit that, hey, I got this thing wrong, kind of thing, and I just don't see them fitting into that role, but I guess time will tell. I think both of them are kind of flailing at this point because they've obviously spent a lot of money going overseas, despite the fact that they sold their house and some of their possessions. Let's be honest, staying in Airbnbs internationally is not the cheapest thing to do. And she's not doing YouTube anymore. She's relying on her website membership fees as a way to get income and sponsorships if and when she does those. The lifestyle is completely different. And I think that it kind of has come to a point where They are exploring the podcast world, knowing that true crime gets a lot of views. Let's be honest, you don't have to be super in tune with internet culture to know that people really watch a lot of true crime. They'll listen to it, they'll rewatch it, they'll be invested in multiple part series if and when those happen. And I think they're willing to do anything to make the money that she once was making on the internet. Oh yeah, that TikToker who is being sued for defamation. I'm going to be really interested to see what happens with that now that they have a suspect apprehended. That girl, like, how dare her literally put that kind of allegation on somebody and try to act like it was fact. I feel awful for that teacher. I feel awful for the surviving roommates of the Idaho situation. It's so devastating to think of all of these allegations and speculations and toxicity that was sent their way, and now they have this suspect in custody, and those people have to continue to live life with the PTSD, the mental health issues, the trauma of not only going through that, but also being falsely accused of such a heinous crime. Oh my God. Something that I've really noticed, and I'm kicking myself right now because I had to stop at the store and all my reusable bags are in the house. I had 0 with me. I know it's not that big of a deal, but I just wasn't prepared. So anyway, being in the grocery store reminded me of something that I've really been noticing a lot lately. One thing that I feel like has shifted since COVID and the pandemic and everything, it changed the world for forever, for the rest of our lifetimes. I think that was like a pivotal moment for many different reasons. But one thing that I've noticed a lot since, call it like late 2019 versus now, is people seem to really lack patience. It seems like everybody's in a hurry. Nobody has an extra 5 seconds to wait. Just wait a second without getting annoyed, pissed off, ranting and raving about whatever, making some snide comment. It's just, to me, it's a very interesting kind of like shift in how people handle themselves. I look at people, like, I'm very observant when I'm out. I always have been. Watching people, watching how they react, listening to what they're saying. I'm not like eavesdropping, but if they're talking loudly to someone, like, I'm just an observant person. There's little patience and there's also little understanding. And despite the fact that I have a commentary channel and sometimes I give a little bit of a filterless reaction to the content that I'm seeing, I do have a lot of understanding because, as most of y'all know, I keep a lot of my life offline, and I always have. And there have been times over my time on YouTube over the past 2+ years where I've had some things going on in my personal life that were stressful, like dealing with stuff at work or just dealing with stuff in my personal life. So I do try to hold a little bit of empathy for how I'm talking about people, if that makes sense. Because, like I said with the Alicia thing, some people seem to be really not understanding and not willing to understand what commentary channels are here for. And the purpose of my channel is to give y'all a space to vent your frustrations, to speak about how you feel and hear confirmation from other people that might feel the same way, and they might not. But usually what I see is people having a conversation, even if it's a disagreement. I think that most people in my comments know how to keep things logical and express their opinions without being, acting like a, 12-year-old. I've just always felt like it was important to hold space for people to express how they feel, because for so long, so long, all that I heard from a lot of people was, oh, I tried to leave my opinion on so-and-so's channel and I got deleted and I was blocked. I think that's what a lot of commentary channels want to do. They want to be able to provide a space for people to say how they feel. Because here's the thing with influencers. Influencer culture is very lucrative, and there's nothing wrong with having someone in a lucrative role. That's not the problem at all. The problem is once the influencers start to exhibit this greedy, money-hungry, entitled behavior, they're being dishonest with their subscribers in order to make themselves more money. But it's being painted as this opportunity to get really cool merch or come to, meet them. And then you go meet them and it's like TanaCon or some kind of like rinky-dink meetup where you see the person from 100 yards away and they're not, so being an influencer isn't the problem, because there are a lot that stay out of trouble. Being an influencer is a problem once you're mistreating the people that put you in that position. And there are so many kind of like different branches where mistreatment can be exhibited in so many different ways. But there is nothing worse than allowing people to build you up and give you this amazing platform to stand on, and then you're turning around and lying to them, falsely advertising, not appreciating anyone that put you in the, $1 million house that you're sitting in. Those are the problems that commentary channels bring and talk about. And we have an open discussion about it. And obviously another side of influencer culture is also the family vlogging side of things, where influencers are not taking their kids' privacy seriously, and all of the things that we talk about with family vloggers specifically. But it's all kind of this one big umbrella, and as long as people are content creators, commentary channels are going to have material to talk about. And as long as you're not making private information public and you're not being a bully, it's fair game. And here's my thing. Even though I hold a space to have some understanding about what someone might be going through that they're not sharing with their audience, I also cannot stand when someone unfairly labels what commentary is. And then you have other people labeling their content as commentary, and it's not commentary. It's slander and it's bullying. So it's just really important to, my entire thing this whole time has been be fair. Be fair. Whether you're a YouTuber, an influencer, a commentary channel, family vlogger, I don't care. But if you're being unfair, people are going to talk about it. And I understand that a lot of opinions online don't matter. Like, they really don't matter because they're just meaningless and come from a place of resentment. However, a lot of them should matter. Because if someone's raising actual, concerns, those are probably things that, even if you don't respond to them, they should hold some amount of value. Because if somebody can come to you and be fair with what they're saying, doesn't mean you have to address it publicly. But those opinions also shouldn't just be like crumpled up and thrown in the trash. Now, if it's an opinion that comes from this kind of like personal vendetta that someone has against you, then that's something a little bit different. But I know for me, I don't have a personal vendetta against any of the people that I've talked about. Even the ones that I have zero respect for, I'm still not, allowing them to take up real estate in my brain and like live their rent free. That's just not what the gig is. I make my content and I move on. So either way, I wanted to make this video today just to clear the air. I know that, for some people it's not going to clear the air, and that's fine too. I think Alicia could learn a lot if she would just open her ears a little bit. Instead of continuing to do what is pissing people off, have a little bit of appreciation for the platform that you're standing on, and recognize that some of the things that people are talking about are actually problematic. It's not people making something out of nothing. And that's how I feel about it. And I don't need your prayers. Not ever, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. I'm good. So either way, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the other errands that I need to run and close this vlog out. But there will be new content coming as always. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.